Well, we've been talking about it all week, really. Prepping for potential spring flooding.
Keeping our fingers crossed for a nice slow melt. But just in case, Gretchen Jones joins us to talk about how the Red Cross is helping train volunteers in case you need to get out there and help out. So welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about where we are this spring. Everybody's preparing. A state of emergency is being called for different cities. How are you guys preparing?
Yep, we are in the exact same mode. So with American Red Cross, we're sitting down at all those meetings with the city and the county officials, emergency managers we're really in close communication with, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that we know where we play a role in this flood fight. And so our first task starts next week with Sandbag Central. The Red Cross is not actually the volunteers that are filling the sandbags, but we're there to support everybody else. So we'll be bringing lunch, we'll have sandwiches and water and coffee and beverages, that kind of thing. So transporting materials and bringing food and that sort of thing.
Well, it's all, you know, an important role in the whole flood fight. Are you looking for more volunteers? How many volunteers do you have already, and how do you get involved if you want to help in some way?
Yep, and that's kind of what we're doing this week is we have some informational sessions just to get more volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers already, but as you know, a flood fight can be long and it can be tiring, so we just want to make sure that we're prepared now. So we have 2 informational sessions that are happening tonight at 6:30 and tomorrow at 10 a.m. at our Red Cross office. And that's just anybody in the public, if you're looking for a way to help this spring, just to help, it could be here in Fargo, maybe the Grand Forks, maybe it's Wahpeton, Breckenridge, Valley City. I mean, we have to think about the whole region here, and that can really, people can be spread thin. So we're looking for volunteers if you're interested in just learning more about the Red Cross. Tonight, it's just information, no commitment. We'll talk about feeding, we'll talk about if a community had to be evacuated, we could potentially open a shelter. That's one way you could help. Driving our vehicles and transporting supplies. So you'll just learn about some of those basic things that the Red Cross does during a flood fight. If you think that that's a right fit for your volunteerism, great. Then we're going to get you in our system, we'll get you trained up, and then if and when this flood does hit, you're ready to go.
All right, good timing. So tomorrow, the next 2 days, or today and tomorrow.
Yep, tonight at 6:30 and tomorrow at 10 a.m.
And I asked you before we went on, you know, Nebraska has just really been in the news lately. Have you guys been called out, or what are you hearing as far as the massive flooding there?
Yeah, Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, all of our Minnesota, parts of southern Minnesota, all of our neighbors are going through this right now. And so we did open some shelters in South Dakota last week. You might have seen in Sioux Falls and in Yankton, South Dakota. And so we have been seeing some of those Nebraskans coming up into South Dakota because they maybe can't get to the shelters in Nebraska. So, and what's really neat about Red Cross is we're all across the country, around the world. We can pull resources from those other states. And so we're all trained the same. Our volunteers can transport from state to state. So if we do need extra help, we can reach out to our Red Cross neighbors in the other states, and they'll be here to help us too.
Do you need any volunteers in South Carolina on Friday by chance, or?
You know, I don't think so. We're going to need people right here.
Thank you for all you do. I know it's a lot of work, so we appreciate it. Again, tonight, 6:30. And where's it at again? At
our Red Cross office. That's 2602 12th Street North. It's just a block off of University Drive up past the Fargo Dome, so it's pretty easy to find.
Thank you, Gretchen. All right, stay with us. Coming up, we're going to be getting a sneak peek at a new short film that's opening this year at Fargo's Film Festival.